It's January 25th, 2020. We're in Game 2 of a Winners Top 64 qualifier at Genesis 7, a yearly Smash Bros. Tournament held in Oakland, California. The game is Ultimate, and 1,700 people have thrown their hats into the ring for a shot at the Genesis crown. On the sticks now, we have Dakpo, a Las Vegas Diddy Kong main, and Gluttony, a French Wario main that is one of the 10 best players in the entire world. Dakpo won Game 1 with Diddy, a character that was often overlooked in a game with more than 80 of gaming's biggest names, and now sits one game away from knocking Gluttony and his trusty Wario down into the losers bracket of the biggest US tournament of 2020. But how did we get here? What led up to this moment with Diddy Kong and Wario locked in battle on Smash's biggest stage? And how did this game serve as the first domino in a chain of events leading to Diddy Kong's first major win? We'll get back to that, but first, let's fast forward. It's August 29th, 2021. We're in Game 3 of Grand Finals at Smash Ultimate Summit 3, a yearly invitational in Los Angeles, California. Tweek is up 2-0 against the world's #1 MKLeo, and both players are on their last stock. Tweek has a chance to take his first major since the COVID lockdown if he can win this game, but we've seen him here before. This stage isn't new to anyone here. Tweek has already won 24 tournaments during Ultimate's lifespan, including 6 majors. MKLeo has 26 wins under his belt so far, with 12 major gold medals of his own. Even Leo's character, Pyra and Mithra, colloquially known as Aegis, has experience winning huge events, taking the Summit Qualifier Mega Smash Mondays 240 just 5 days before this event. And then, we have the monkey. Diddy Kong's previous best result at a PGR-eligible event was a tie. Longtime NorCal Diddy player Legit peaked at 25th at main stage, as did the man we talked about before, Dakpo, at the same event. So, what was a monkey with a little hat and a peanut gun doing in grand finals of one of the most hyped events of the year? What made Tweek believe in a character everyone had written off? In order to figure out how this happened, and how Diddy Kong got to the highest level, we need to rewind. Before Ultimate, Diddy Kong had been 2 Smash games. Brawl, where he was given the wondrous gift of 2 bananas and was a top 4 character, and Smash 4, where they took away one of his bananas but gave him every single other tool a young monkey could want. Despite multiple nerfs throughout the game's lifespan and the addition of some overwhelming DLC characters, he was still in the top 4 when all was said and done. He had a rough adjustment into Ultimate. His hitboxes, recovery, and kill setups were nerfed, and most of his top-level representatives from Smash 4 dropped him on the release of Ultimate. As a result, Diddy languished in the lowest depths of tier lists and usage charts. PGstats contributor Matthew EazyFreezie Aliota has compared placement percentage charts for each PGRU season to determine which characters have the most impact on the meta based on how often they make it to top cuts at big tournaments. For a more in-depth look at placement percentages, check out the link in the description for a longer explanation and the full results. In PGRU Season 1, which took place during the first half of 2019, Diddy Kong scored a pitiful 0.4% placement rating, along with consensus low tiers like Isabelle, Incineroar, and Dr. Mario. Players like Legit and Dakpo were pushing Diddy's meta, but there wasn't anything exciting or groundbreaking that Diddy could do to set him apart from the other, better characters in Ultimate's nearly 80-character roster. Well, hold on. There was one thing. This thing was found within the first month of Ultimate's release. Diddy Kong could perform an infinite combo by catching his opponent on the platform, then dropping through and hitting down B to spawn a banana, catching the banana after it hit his opponent, then throwing it back at his opponent before it despawned, and starting the loop again. It wasn't a free pick-up-and-play combo that you could just pull off easily, and in order to use it, you had to be playing Diddy Kong, which still came with the aforementioned shortcomings, but it remained in the back of people's minds as the game got patched, and the Infinite never did. The argument between Diddy Kong players and others online wasn't if the Infinite was game-breaking or viable. The main argument in the world of the Diddy Kong Infinite was around what it should be called. After months of hard-fought Twitter discussions and arguments over what the name of a niche setup for a character nobody played should be, names like Jungle Jank, the Random Chimp Event, the Banana Split, the Banane, and just the Diddy Kong Infinite lost out to the Infinite's true name, the Pyramid Scheme. Diddy Kong finally got some much-needed buffs in patch 3.0 and 3.1, generally making his kit better across the board. But that didn't really change his placement on many tier lists, with players like Void and ESAM putting Diddy still squarely in mid-tier. His placement percentages went up during the PGRU Season 2. He vaulted from the depths of obscurity to genuine, albeit niche, usage, finishing 23rd in total usage. That said, he remained shut out of major top 8s, never finishing better than 13th at an A-tier event or 25th at an S-tier. He was still below characters like Pikachu, Mega Man, and Shulk, less common picks that were thought of as good ways to catch people off guard. But all in all, the monkey had moved up 31 spots from his first season, the highest of any character. A rise in rank does not mean that you're relevant to the meta. Other members of the season's top 10 biggest risers included never-has-beens like Bowser Jr., Robin, and Little Mac, but unlike them, Diddy Kong started to feel like a real character during Season 2. Dakpo got wins over Cola and Louie Money, and Diddy players got more consistent with banana setups, combo routes, and even occasionally, the infinite. Season 2 ended at the end of 2019, and in January of 2020, there were 2 tournaments of over 1,500 players, EVO Japan 2020 and Genesis 7. Both of these tournaments took place on the last weekend of the month, and both had huge impacts on our hero. Allegedly, there was an agreement between the top Diddy Kong players in North America that they wouldn't use the infinite on stream at majors, because if they did, it could get patched out. Japanese Diddy main Rikuya obviously didn't get the memo, and on January 24, 2020, after being nearly 3-stocked in Game 1, he reached into his bag of tricks and pulled out the infinite. You can see him fishing for it on his first stock, but he couldn't connect it fully until stock 2, where he comboed Taco Man for 70 excruciating seconds, where Cloud gained and lost limit 3 times, and eventually closed it out with the most optimal of finishers. Miss input side B into head-on explosion up B. Taking the combo to 600% was by no means optimal. Starting at around 115, you can easily convert into an up smash or forward smash to get the kill, but we're losing sight of the priorities here. It wouldn't be as funny that way. Rikuya did 49 straight loops of the infinite, pulling as many bananas and hitting Taco Man with each one twice during the combo. Rikuya took advantage of a silly little quirk in the game and decided consequences be damned, he was on stream and he was going to put on a show. Rikuya didn't even win that set. He got 2-stocked in Game 3 and finished EVO Japan 385th out of 2,983 players. The clip gained some notoriety online and made people worry about the infinite, but the scale of his 500% combo was nothing compared to what happened at Genesis the next day. Dakpo, likely the best Diddy player in the world at the time, had muscled his way through pools at Genesis to make it to the top 64 qualifier against Gluttony, Europe's best player and the man who had just finished the PGR season at 8th in the world. At this point in Ultimate's life, Gluttony had won more PGR-eligible events than Dakpo had even entered, and Gluto was 6 seed lines ahead of Dakpo. They were on the tournament's mainstream, playing in front of thousands of people. Dakpo, accordingly, decided to pull out all the stops. Dakpo won the first game by the skin of his teeth, closing out all of Gluttony's stocks with banana conversions and taking advantage of 2 whiffed Wario wafts. He was on the verge of an incredible upset if he could take Game 2. He closed out Gluto's first stock, then grabbed another banana. Now that the infinite embargo was broken, or maybe just because he could, he landed a simple Z-drop banana into double nair to get Gluttony onto the platform. Then, he caught his tech in place with a down B, and it was on. 10 loops later, Dakpo let a charged F-smash rip and Gluttony was down to his last stock. Gluto very nearly brought the set back, but it was too late. Dakpo had done too much damage with the infinite and sent Gluto into the loser's bracket 2-0. Dakpo would eventually lose to Jace, then known as Bedgar, and Makuga, formerly known as Charlie the King, for 25th place. Gluto was able to make a loser's run all the way to 7th, but it didn't matter. All people cared about was how Diddy Kong was able to do what he did to one of the best players in the world on the biggest stage. The YouTube VOD got 50,000 views. ESPN's esports talked about it. YouTubers used it as clickbait. It was discussed about and memed about and admired across the Smash world, but like Icarus and his waxed wings, Diddy Kong and his funny jetpack flew too close to the sun, and on June 29th of 2020, the pyramid scheme was removed from the game. One might think this would be the demise of Diddy Kong. Instead, this patch led the chimp to grand finals of a major. Nintendo saw all the hype surrounding the Diddy Kong Infinite and stepped in. The developers have espoused two major pieces of balancing philosophy in the Ultimate era. They don't want long, drawn-out, high-input difficulty techniques to define the game, and they prefer to address balancing by shoring up weaknesses rather than removing strengths. Naturally, then, they saw a mid-tier with an infinite and gave the monkey a bunch of buffs in exchange for losing his most unique tool. Diddy got a laundry list of buffs, rounding out his kit and making him a better overall character than he was with the infinite. The biggest downside may have been that players scared of the infinite no longer counterpicked Diddy to Final Destination, likely his best stage. Diddy was now a real, viable, high-tier character, and because Smash Ultimate labbers never sleep, a new, more difficult infinite was found. Sticking with the theme, it got the name Multi-Level Marketing, but it failed to pick up steam and was eventually patched out in version 11.0.0. Shortly after this, Tweek started playing the character online with real success, winning online tournaments like Get On My Line 2020 and the Northeast SWT qualifier, both featuring over 2,000 players each. The question was raised, is this an online character or a real tournament threat? And, while Tweek insisted that his Diddy Kong was indeed the answer to his 3-year-long character crisis, many players doubted his legitimacy. Tweek had played Wolf, Pokemon Trainer, Wario, Roy, and Joker, among others throughout Ultimate's lifespan, and all of those characters were consensus top tiers that he had abandoned because they didn't fit him. Why now would people believe that Tweek would stick with an unproven high-tier character that had never even gotten top 8 at a major? Tweek proved that Diddy Kong was a real threat, though, at his two big tournaments pre-Summit. First was the comeback in Maryland, which he won with solo Diddy, beating Cosmos and Puppe in the process. Then, there was the momentous Invitational where he defeated Leon and DeBuzz. It was all coming together for Tweek and his gun-toting companion, but Smash Summit offered a small scare. You already know that Tweek and Diddy are going to be in grand finals at this tournament, but if you told that to someone after day 1 of Ultimate Summit 3, they'd laugh at you. Tweek entered as the 2 seed, but got crushed in the Diddy Ditto by Aaron, who also recommitted to Diddy Kong during the lockdown period. He pulled out a Pocket Sephiroth to no avail and lost 3-0. Next up was Spargo, who pasted both Tweek's Diddy Kong and Wolf on the way to a swift 3-1. At this point, Tweek looked lost. He didn't have confidence in Diddy Kong or himself, and he had a long way to go if he wanted to make it out of his pool on winner's side, and an even longer way to go if he wanted to win the tournament. Game 3 against Spargo was the last time Tweek would play a character other than Diddy Kong for the rest of the tournament. Between his Spargo set and grand finals, he had a game record of 15-2 against the best players in the world, including an upset win over MKLeo in winner's quarters. He utilized every trick that Diddy had, every buff he had received, and every setup that existed to blow by his opponents. And now, here he sits, one hit away from delivering unto Diddy Kong a championship ribbon that, let's face it, would go great with his outfit. It all comes down to this: the loss of the pyramid scheme due to the hubris of Dakpo and Rakuya. The buffs given to a character that so desperately needed them to regain the glory he had in past Smash titles, and the connection between man and monkey that got Diddy Kong to this moment, on this stage, for a chance to win nearly $50,000. Welcome to a moment in history.
To hold center, keep his feet on the ground, but Leo...
Oh, wait a minute. That's not going to be good. Close. Oh. Very fucking close. Oh. He did it. That's it. Let's go, Tweek.
Diddy Kong is now in the top 10 of placement percentage for PGRU Season 3, and while Summit 3 remains Tweek's only major win of the post-lockdown era, he's still one of Ultimate's best players. For more info on his Smash Summit 3 run, check out the link in our description. And to find out where exactly Tweek is ranked on the PGRU season, subscribe to PGstats and check out our website for the release of the PGRU V3 coming up in August. I've been Last. I do so hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I'll see you next time.